All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is Caperuzo with another episode of One-on-One, Mano a Mano. This time we're joining by Bakers Eddy. This is a great pop rock band from New Zealand. They have some good news. They'll be releasing their debut album on March the 25th. And they got also a new single coming up on March the 9th. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. First and foremost, we wanna show our appreciation for everybody that make this happen, for everybody that gave us this opportunity. So thank you guys. And you wanna say something? Or are you ready for the questions?
Yeah, honestly, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
All right, we really appreciate it too. My name is Gerardo Ledesma, and we're about to start. All right. The first question is, how would you describe or introduce the band to a new audience?
I'd say rowdy and energetic. I guess we're a live band first and foremost, so you'd have to come to one of our shows to get it. I think when we we write music so that we can perform it live, so we always have that in mind. So all the songs sound like what we feel they'll look like live. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I guess we'd probably just say come see us at a gig.
All right. So this is a related question. So did you record this album for like in a live? It's gonna be a live album, or how was the process of recording? Do you do it one then one like one then the other, or do you just do it as a group, like a whole?
We recorded the drums live.
Yeah,
like the live feeling to the drums. We were all in the main room with Jamie, our drummer, just jumping around, playing our instruments while he was tracking.
I guess the thing that we wanted to kind of like what I said before with us sounding live, or at least trying to make a record that sounded like it was, a representation of what we sound like at a gig. We kind of all got in the same room at the same time when we were tracking drums and just like got as close as possible to him and just started yelling. we kind of mic'd up the entire room so that when you hear the record, you can hear all the bleed coming from our instruments as well. And just, yeah, all the shit that we were hurling at Jamie as well. Not physical shit, but other shit that we were throwing at Jamie to get him energetic. And yeah, but then we tracked all the guitars and vocals later on in different studios. And yeah, that's how we did it.
All right, thank you. All right, we jump to the next question. It's actually really related. It's about now that you mentioned that you record on different studios. That's quite intriguing, and I guess there was the interlapse was like weeks or like maybe a month. And can you tell us about the different studios and maybe what outcome did this bring?
Yeah, we recorded the drums at a recording studio, and then we recorded the guitars and vocals both in a bar, in a room above a bar, and then at our producer's mum's house. I don't know if they were because we liked the treatment of the room or just because they were the cheapest options to find. But
Probably the
latter. But I mean, the drums are the most important part to get sounding right, in terms of you need like a treated room and you need the right microphones and the right placement. But the rest of it doesn't really matter as long as there's like a computer and a good microphone and an amp. So yeah, The bar was good though, because you know, every couple of hours we'd get the bartender coming up with a jug for us, the jug of beer, just to keep us motivated. And then Oscar was the guy who produced the record. His mum's place was nice as well, because we got tea, cups of tea.
All right, thank you. So we were also wondering, or it's maybe old news by now, but we all know there's an outbreak out there. You know, all the world is facing this virus. How or in any way does this affect your upcoming album?
It's
Well, we had to postpone the release date from October last year to March this year, so it affected everything by about 6 months.
it's like we touring over here completely stopped from, I don't know,
The start.
from the start to now. But when we recorded the album during COVID, with the expectation that last year we'd be open again to be able to tour it. But obviously things just got worse and worse. So we made the call to push it back to March 25th this year, which is my birthday, which is a lovely thing to release an album on.
Nice.
And yeah, and I think, yeah, we all kind of like, we thought that was the best option, just because because it's our first record, we had to play it live. Like, we had to play it in front of people to get the vibe across. So yeah, I think we made the right decision.
Yeah.
Seeing as this year, you know, we've already been planning lots of tours, and you know, past March, just touring relentlessly till the end of the year, I think.
All right, thank you. So we already got a chance to hear My Babies Like Cigarettes, 21, Concertina, and Space is Nothing. And we kind of found two keywords to define these kind of songs, and it will be like youth or energetic and chaos. And kind of what you said at the beginning of the interview. So will you say this applied to the whole album, or are we can we expect like a spectrum of like intensity and maybe like some low key songs, or is it all madness?
There is one low key song. Valuable things. There's one song you can waltz to, 100%. But Space is Nothing, I reckon, is probably the only other one that's slightly mellower than the others. So you're probably gonna get a lot of chaos with the rest of the record. No, I don't know if that was intentional, but that was just how we were feeling at the time, you know.
Right.
Pent up.
So, and now with the name of the album, so it's kind of like a phrase like live, love, laugh, something like that, when you say when you mean love for them bicycles, or what you were aiming to.
That wasn't that. Now that you've said that, I think it changes everything. Thank you.
I mean, we would like to be pointed in the right direction with this one.
Yeah. No, it's a great observation. I could just actually see it walking into like Target or something. Just live like on board of bicycles. I'm made of wood or something. The name was. How am I not going to give a bullshit answer? Basically, it took us like days and days to figure out a name, and we'd come up with all these like this really cool stuff, you know. And then I think I wrote down Love, Board and Bicycles, because that was exactly what all the songs are written about. There's only really like 3 topics on the on the record, and those are the 3 topics, so it made sense to call the album after that. That's after that.
All right, yeah, so I think we're gonna take it now like the title of a book. It makes more sense than what I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, well, now let's talk about your video clips. Can you elaborate a bit on this one? What are we gonna expect for this new album, and maybe what you have already delivered?
From video clips.
For music videos. We actually, this is the first time in our like band's career, if you will, that we've had like an artistic direction in terms of the visual aspects. So music videos that we've really felt kind of works with us. We've always struggled with music videos in the past, but we're working with someone called Triana, who just like after first meeting just got it and got what we wanted to do. So you know, that's where the Concertina was the first one, and I think that like perfectly depicts the kind of direction that we want to be heading in. Once this album's released and when we start touring, like in terms of imagery, the clothes we wear, the makeup, all that kind of stuff, I think that's exactly what we feel we look like at this point. And yeah, we've got My Baby's Like Cigarettes as well came after that, and I think we've got one or two more music videos that we're doing with Triana, that all kind of fall in line with the same kind of imagery, the kind of like thrifty clothes. We've got I think the next one's for a song called Getting High and Thinking About You. So it's supposed to be like an acid trip, a bad acid trip / a good acid trip. I don't know which one. An acid trip. Of all sorts. A journey.
All right, thank you. All right, coming next. So Caperuzo, or digital magazine as a media, like to focus on upcoming artists and maybe the independent scene of music. So we were wondering, can you tell us a bit of how's that scene in New Zealand? Can you tell us about the independent music scene there?
Well, we haven't actually lived in New Zealand for 4 or 5 years now.
4
4?
5 years? Wait, 2021.
2017.
Wow.
Yeah, coming
that's
up on
crazy.
5 years. So I don't think we could actually say much about New Zealand's independent music scene anymore because we haven't been there. But locally, where we are now in Melbourne, Australia, yeah, it's thriving, I would say. There's a lot of underground music.
Obviously it took a hit during last year, and before that it was great. Like we had in New Zealand at the time where we were kind of starting out, prior to moving here, there was nothing for us. Like we found it really hard to find other people who are like-minded playing the same kind of music our age. We'd like go to a gig and we'd play in front of like 20 bogan 45-year-old men. And it was like, and we were 18 at the time, and that was kind of like the only people that connected with guitar rock music in New Zealand at the time. As we came over here and discovered to Melbourne and discovered that there was an entire scene of people like us into the same music, into the same clothes. Like we had a scene here. And yeah, prior to COVID, we were just kind of like starting to connect to all those people in the bands and make lots of friends and yeah, have this little community. Obviously, yeah, the last 2 years have been pretty tough, and there's been a lot of people that have fallen out as well of the scene. But now, you know, in the last month, pretty much just the last month, gigs have started happening again. So we've started to, yeah, open that up again and find that community, which is cool.
Nice. Would you like to shoot out maybe one band?
Well, my all-time favorite, like the best band I think I've ever seen live is a band called Fangirl. They're from Melbourne. They're like, yeah, incredible live, just incredibly talented, very humble as well. unlike us. And really lovely people. So that would probably be my shout out.
All right, thank you. Next, can you talk to us about your plans for the next month, maybe for this year, this year's ending, or how far are you expecting the plans to work out?
Well, we're kind of like looking at this year, regardless of what happens with the pandemic, we're looking at this year as like the year that we throw all our eggs into the basket, and we're just gonna like, we've already planned kind of the next 6 months, and the next 6 months is just relentless touring. Once we drop the album, we're just gonna hit the road and kind of just not look back. We've got we haven't really announced it yet, but we've got, you know, like a 30 odd date tour around Australia of just doing rural shows as well. So like lots and lots and lots of playing live, because we couldn't do any of it for the last 2 years. So we've got a lot of time to make up for. We want to come overseas. We'd love to come to Mexico. We'd love to come to South America. Like, we'd love to do that. We'd really like to do North America as well. We've got big plans. We want to go everywhere.
All right. We'll be definitely waiting for you up here. All right, now kind of a random question. So we're really into skateboarding in Caperuzo. And one of our favorite crews, it's Baker. We love Baker Tree. And does that has anything to do with the name, or can you tell us a little bit about your name?
Straight up, it has everything to do with the name. Baker Skateboard sponsor us.
No shit.
No, we wish. I wish it had something to do with the name, but it wasn't until we realized, like, we bought I got given a bunch of skateboards recently, and Jamie, I hadn't even thought about it, but Jamie was thinking about riding Bakers Eddy on one of the boards, and we're like, hold on, we can just buy a Baker board and just write Eddy underneath it. We'll just do that. Baker has a death wish, best skate movie.
Oh yeah. It's a great
skate
one.
movie of all time. Almost as good as the intro of Look, I Fully Fled. Just the intro.
All right. Well, that's it for us. We really appreciate your time. And do you have any last words, any last comment, or some statement you like to make?
Yeah, live, laugh, love. Thank you so much for having us. That was lots of fun.
Thank you. We really appreciate your time. We really appreciate your effort, and we'll make our best work to let everybody in Mexico know there's a big album coming next. Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers. Nice to meet you.